So today's guest is going to share with us how we can remold ourselves with positive habits and also give us tips on how to do a self-published Amazon book. So let's go see.
Building spirituality, family, health, and business. This is the Giant Builders with Lois Wyant.
Hey, Giant Builders, welcome. I'm so glad you're here today. Don't forget, leave a comment on our social media. It helps us reach more people. So today's guest is Michal Stabisky. Hello, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being here. Well, tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and what you do, please.
Currently, what I do, I am owner of Resurrecting Books, a book advertising agency. We do Amazon ads for authors, mostly self-published. However, we had some traditionally published clients. That's well what I'm doing for a living. Um, I had been working in corporate in IT for almost 20 years. At like many corporate workers, I found myself miserable in that, and that's how I decided to, okay, let's do something else. And book advertising wasn't on my radar, but writing was like a childhood dream. So I tried this and that, one blog, then the other, then failed attempt at fiction, and finally I cracked the code with self-publishing on Amazon, self-help books based on my own experience. And that's how I, in the end, learned how to run Amazon ads for books.
So, what was the inspiration for your first book?
So when I restarted my personal development, I came back to Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, and Stephen Covey recommends there to write your own personal mission statement. So I avoided like self-analysis for like 16 years. It wasn't easy. Um, and the process took me like a month, and finally I had my personal mission statement. And then a few months later, I wrote a blog post about it, and my friend commented, "Yeah, that will make a good ebook." I was like, "Okay, you say so. Let's try." And I had no clue about self-publishing back then. Well, back then even Amazon wasn't in Poland yet, so I had no clue that there is such opportunity. But I started exploring it uh, and publish it very quickly. Like it took me less than 50 days uh, between writing the first word and hitting the publish button. So what was the inspiration? My own story. Yeah. Okay. I like when you hear write your personal mission statement, it sounds so elusive. Like, what the heck should I do? And really, there is like Covey's book about this, which is ironically titled "How to Write," but in the end, it's why you should write. So there is very little instructions in those books coming with this advice. But I went through the process. I ended up with pretty decent personal mission statement. So I just documented my process. And yes, I got quite nice feedback from my readers about it.
Great. Well, what topic are you most passionate about?
Persistence slash habits. I haven't yet written a book about habits, but I wrote enough Quora answers to have 10 volumes.
Oh,
And yeah,
that's a lot.
several hundred just about habits. And persistence, one of my books is titled The Art of Persistence. And habits and persistence come hand in hand because, well, you don't develop a new habit overnight. So it takes some time. It's a process. And actually, I'm a believer that if like success comes down to not giving up. If you give up, then okay, you have 100% guarantee of failure. Oh, yeah. But if you keep going, like everything is possible.
Well, we have the possibility of good habits and bad habits. How do you direct yourself to, obviously, I would hope everybody would want to go to the good habits, but do you have a tip on how to keep focused on good habits?
Actually, focusing on good habits is a pretty good way to get rid of bad habits because we have definite uh, mind space, time, energy. So if you are dedicated to good habits, there is very little space for bad habits. And this is what happened to me. Like I had plenty of bad habits back in 2012 when I started, or rather restarted my personal development. And then I switched from playing computer games, watching TV, and other not so useful activities. I, I was consumed by studying personal development and reading and listening, and I just didn't have time for this old me. And yeah, it helps a lot. It's not really, a silver bullet, uh, but yeah, if you can occupy yourself with the good things, there is very little space for bad ones.
No, that's a good thing. In your notes, you said there's four life-changing factors. What are those?
Okay, so that's from the research of BJ Fogg from Stanford University. Uh, what was his department called? Persuasive technology, something like that. So he wanted to figure out why people change, yeah, and like for also commercial purposes. Uh, why, how, and he came up with three, which were enlightenment, change of your environment, and the third, habits. And I personally think all of three of them come down to habits because, okay, let's say you experience enlightenment. What happens then? Okay, you change your life. You do something else. You to do embrace new habits. Yeah. And okay, so you are back to square one, habits. Change of environment. Yes, it is so transformational because you ditch all the triggers you had for your bad habits as well. And you create space for new things. And okay, so let's say you move from one country to another, you end up in a different with a different set of habits in the end, yeah, because your environment forces you to learn a language, for example, or whatever else. Um, and uh, habits are so integral part of who we are and how we are. Like it's a very primal thing. We share it with other mammals, even with reptiles and birds. They also have the same parts of brain and use the same neural mechanisms to govern their life. So it's so very primal. And for most people, it's no, habits are tough or uh, hard to understand. But no, it's our biology. Like literally, it's our biology. And the fourth factor, which BJ admitted, I heard it on some podcast that I underestimated how impactful is the influence of other people.
Oh.
Uh, so it's actually the shortcut to everything in life. Spend more time with people who you want to be like. Voila. And again, it's biology. Kids are learning life that way. It's hard coded into us. If you do not act against it, you will naturally fall into whatever those other people you spend time with are doing. You will start using the same vocabulary, doing the same things. So if you want to be uh, more fit, go join a gym and you will be among fit individuals, and like it will help you even if you don't try, just be there. And what's because when I was like discovering this also in my life, what actually shocked me was that it also applies to very complex things, skills. I had been a database administrator, and well, I wasn't that passionate about this subject. But in one company, I spent 4 years or so next to a guy who was like genius and so passionate, and he was going to Microsoft conferences and correcting those who lectured because he knew so much. And really, like, yeah, sometimes I needed his help, so like I was observing what he was doing, or like I was in the maintenance department, so of course when emergency happened, then most of the time it fell on him. So we watched how he dealt with. But to cut this story short, I changed jobs, and in the next job, I got very challenging task of project of um, what's the English expression? Optimizing the database. So I was thinking it's way above me, but I did it quickly to the point, and like in a matter of quarter, we doubled the effectiveness of the database. Uh, and then I was like, what the heck happened? And like because as I said, I wasn't passionate about it. I knew something, but it was more through practice than by being brilliant. And I got this thought. Yeah, it's because I sat next to Bogdan for a few years that I just got the right skill set. So if it works for such complex issues, come on, like getting fit, getting healthy, more social, or whatever else. Spend time with people who are like that.
Yeah, so sometimes you have to say goodbye to some old friends and find some new friends. Or I guess as Americans, we see a lot of this peer pressure, if you will, in our teenagers. So it's something that, yeah, I could see where it takes a lot of bravery to move your friend group, I think. And so we just, recognizing the fact that they're influencing you poorly or that you need to make a changes, that takes a lot of like change in the whole mindset to make that happen, I think.
Yes, but again, if you just focus on this, okay, I want to be more fit, I will join the gym or some fitness classes. Uh, it like ditching your friends who are negative or not fit will happen like naturally, automatically. It won't be awkward. It's like I'm going to the gym, so I won't sit on a couch with you and watch TV. Sorry, I just cannot be in two places at once.
That's a good point. Yeah, you got to choose your time. So, a note here says that you have tricks or life hacks that you want to share with the world. Have we covered that?
Well, so many of them, really.
Okay.
When you start, studying personal development, there are things that now are like common knowledge. Everybody knows habits. It's like just go to Google. Like everything can be answered by Google, right? Visualizations, for example. Like top sportsmen are using it to get an edge because your body is only part of the equation, and actually your mindset is much more important. And visualization, sorry, can help you. Yeah, that's why they are like trying this hit in their mind 10 times before they do it, or this throw of a ball. So that's one thing. Like, and I'm the one preaching to myself because for me, visualization is really hard work. It's yeah, I need to decide that I will visualize. That's how hard it is for me. Yeah, but it's also super effective. Like our subconscious doesn't really discern between imagination and reality. So like you can train in your head situations that are hard to fabricate in the real world. Um, well, so for example, yeah, that's it's something I had done and done really well. I actually used visualization on a daily basis many times when I was overcoming my shyness. Like I just couldn't utter a word to a stranger. Just like wow, and sweet and oh, no, it was beyond me. So and when I finally faced that realization, okay, it's beyond me. I started from like just watching people and having conversation with them in my head. And with practice, I could like, oh, this is an interesting person. And like running to the bus, I had a 2 second conversation in my head with them. Um, and really, like I was so shy. And now here I am on a podcast speaking in foreign language. Uh, like I had zillions of conversation with strangers. I got a few friends because I struck conversation. So yeah, it is very effective. And another life hack will be practicing gratitude. Because Sean Acor, researcher of happiness and positive psychology, he said everything we can measure for is better when the brain is positive. And gratitude rewires your brain to positivity. So it's also like I heard him on a podcast a few years into my personal development journey, and I was like, ah, so that's why I was making so much progress, like seemingly without much effort. Yeah, because I rewired my brain, and so he said everything we can measure for is better. And he also qualified that it's better by 15 to 30%, so significantly better. And he mentioned things like grades at school, chances for salary rise, fitness, relationships, everything what we can measure is better when the brain is positive. So if you aren't very positive like I had been, gratitude, practicing gratitude, just writing 3 things you are grateful for every day will help you immensely.
Well, that's wonderful. Yeah. But sometimes the world hits us and it's hard to have gratitude because we get so bombarded with what the world is surrounding us with. So, and I've
Yeah,
heard,
sometimes it's hard. That's why you need a, like discipline is the word that comes to me because of the book
Mhm.
I read, The Slight Edge, which prompted me to change my life. Jeff Olson talks about daily disciplines, but mm, what you need is a habit. It's like your bottom line is gratitude. Uh, where was that in the book Big Potential by Sean Acor? He told a story of I think in New Orleans some shooting and the personnel of the hospital like that was traumatizing. Like many people. wanted, and it's all fault of them. Uh, but they were practicing gratitude for 2 years, and they started like staff meeting that day with gratitude as usual. So, and then they found positives in the situation, support from people all over the country, uh, prayers, and so on and so on. So they could find, even if this very dark time, because they practiced. Yeah. So that's why don't wait for, okay, I need some positivity and gratitude in my life. No, practice it. And then when the time comes that you will really need it, you will have it.
That's great. So what makes is it I'll edit that part out. um I think of my question here. I'm marking this so I know to edit this out. Um so what makes it complicated to do self-publishing books on Amazon?
Well, complicated is subjective. For
Okay.
me, now it's very simple. Yes,
Yeah.
I published 19 books, and I had been an IT guy, so technology doesn't overwhelm me. Uh, but in my book advertising business, I have quite a few folks with are like retirees and finally have time to write. So they write and then they publish. And for them, it's complicated and it's overwhelming. But I would say Amazon really simplified this for common folks. Uh, yeah, I was amazed when I was publishing my first book, like how easy it is. But it still is like 20 steps, uh, and writing is just one of them.
Yeah.
Writing, editing, but that's like before publishing. Yeah, you need to have something to publish it. Cover design, book description, but also like technical aspects like keywords you want people to find your book through, categories in which your book will be displayed. So those are the elements you need to gather together. Then manuscript itself, like it has to meet some certain technical requirements. However, actually, it's a very simple Word document. The simpler, the better, just headlines and normal text.
Uh-huh.
And the Amazon engine will nicely translate it into the EPUB format. So it's not that complicated. But if you want to make your book fancy, yeah, then I actually use friends who I met who are like word experts in that, and I don't need to know how to create beautiful image table or whatever else. Um, so those are the technical aspects. Then there are some publishing aspects. They ask you for the ISBN number, so the unique number for your book. The what else? Publisher name. Um, uh, Nowadays, it's a question about if your book is AI assisted or written by AI.
Oh,
So
okay.
you need to cross all those fields, and then it's just a matter of setting the price and hitting the publish button. And even the paperback format, it's now print on demand. So you just upload a file,
Mhm.
two files actually, manuscript and the cover, and voila, they do everything for you. It's so easy comparing to 25 years ago.
Yeah. So is your book in different languages?
I translated a few of my books. Let me think, into German, Spanish, and I had one bought by Korean publisher and
Oh,
published in South Korea. Yeah,
okay.
but I do not. I didn't even, because I wrote them in English. I didn't even translate into Polish. Now that Amazon is in Poland, but we still don't have Kindle in Poland, so
Oh,
I'm
okay.
still dragging my feet. But once it will be there and advertising will be available, I guess, yeah, I will translate my books and publish them. Um, but nowadays, I was at the conference in Ireland, a publishing conference for self-publishers. There are AI tools now that translate your books pretty decently, and but that was a fiction writer, so a bit different aspects. And
Yeah.
still, he said like I translated my books into 5 different languages and just minimal editing because I don't know really that language, yeah, and voila, it works, it sells. People do not complain about quality.
Mhm.
Uh, so yeah, now it's like now I got excited about it. Come on, I have enough to do.
Put one more thing on your list. Well, thank you so much. Any closing thoughts?
Closing thoughts. Okay, another story. Like it started with that book, The Slight Edge, which the main topic is persistence. Just keep going and you will succeed. So it dawned on me one day. I just randomly uh, typed into Google success and then persistence. And I was a bit shocked. Like it was like 100 to few hundred more results for success than persistence. But the persistence is the road to success. Yeah. So we ignore the road there. We are so obsessed about the and but why is that so important? Because I repeat this exercise every so often. And the number of results always differ, but the ratio is always the same. It's overwhelmingly okay, success, 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 and we ignore a way to succeed. So come on, embrace it. Persistence is your way to success. So don't focus on, okay, I will get this accolade or that certificate or no, or that success, this revenue, so many sales. No, focus on doing your job persistently, consistently, every day. And like the law of sowing and reaping is real. If you will sow, you will reap. Period.
So persistence can lead to success.
Not can. It leads to
Oh,
success.
okay, reset that. Persistence will lead to success.
Amen.
Exclamation point. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate your input and you giving us your time. And Giant Builders, I'll have all of his link information below. And please, if you're looking at doing a self-published book, we have a coach here that can help you walk through that process. So, well, thank you again. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much for having me, Louise.
All right, Giant Builders, we'll see you next week.
Thank you for listening. This has been The Giant Builders with Lois Wyant.